Okay, in this video we're going to do the indexing base. So I'm going to do it off to the side here of the sheet layout. I'm going to start off with a circle, and we'll do circle center diameter. And the diameter is 1.5 for the small hole. I'll use that as my reference for the next one. It has a center radius of 3 inches. And we're going to use this top quadrant right here as the next reference. I'm going to draw a line, and I need to make sure I have my polar tracking turned on. I'm going to go down to my polar tracking, and I'm going to set it to 30 degrees, which it is. Turn it on. And I'll start off at my 90, and then I'm going to go and click to 120, which is 90 plus 30. And the length here, if you look at the length, we're given a 4-inch radius to the center. So I'm going to type 4 inches, and that's going to be my center point for the upper circle. And I'm going to use the same reference point right here, but this time it's going to be 60 degrees. So watch this. If we go from the vertical, move up, it should lock in at 30. And if we do it again, another 30 plus 30 is 60. So we're at 210 degrees. And we're going to go with 4-inch length of our line. And that's going to be the center point of the lower circle for the slot of the indexing base. The top one will give us our reference for the larger circle as well. So let's start putting those in. Go circle center radius. We could put the larger one in. It has a radius of 2. And then we could put the smaller one in next, which would have a diameter of 1.5. Diameter of 1.5. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we can do the outer circle. We could do a TTR, do a tangent radius, and we can make that 6. And we can trim that right away if we wanted to. Let's go ahead and put this lower hole in here. It's going to be a center diameter of 1.5. And now what I could do is I could get rid of these center points, because now I have my center points. And let's put these arcs in here. So if we have a radius from that center point at 3.25, center radius, put 3.25, and then we have to add 3.25 to 1.5. So we can go to circle center radius, and we can put in 4.75 as our radius on the outside. Now we got a lot of circles happening here. What we need to do is trim them up. Let's trim this circle, this circle, this circle, and this circle. Let's clean that up a little bit. So notice how I individually click some things there, just to get it cleaned up. Let's get another one in here to finish this outline. So we can go to TTR again. TTR, tangent radius is 1, and that'll fit right in there. So let's go ahead and trim that up as well. And let's select everything and trim everything else up. Let's clean it up. Okay, that's the indexing base right there. Now, as you notice, it's not going to fit in the sheet layout. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to scale it down. Before you scale it down, you need to join these entities together and do your area calculation. Select everything and type join. Hit enter, and it should have joined together. Then you go to your area calculation, go to area, add area object, and hit enter. And you're going to want to go to subtract area object. You're going to click in here, and it'll give you your area calculation. And you want to make sure you record that area calculation. Okay. Now we're going to scale this down. The scale factor that we're going to use is going to be 0.5. We're going to scale it down in half. Specify my base point. Type 0.5 as my scale factor, scaling it in half. So now I need to go to my X line, try to get my center since this is definitely an irregular shape. Do my vertical X line. Draw a diagonal line. Another diagonal line over here. I can delete these X lines. Move this in. Midpoint to midpoint. We're all centered up. Now we're ready for dimensions and center lines. So let's go ahead and put a few dimensions in. Let's go ahead and put some radius dimensions in. Some radius this. Now take note, this is not a radius of 1. It's supposed to be a radius of 2. So we scaled the drawing down 0.5 to 1 inch, half size. So now what we got to do is we got to go to our dimension style, and we have to change our, go to modify, change our measurement scale factor to, instead of 1 we're going to go to 2 because we're going to double it. Since we scaled the object down in half, we got to double the measurement scale back up the other way. And we read properly now. Alright, so let's go through the rest. Let's do some more radius dimensions here. We got radius dimension over here. And we're going to have a 4-inch radius when we put that center line in. Do a radius dimension in here, radius dimension here. This will be an aligned dimension in here, and we will work on that later on a little bit more. Let's see here, we got a diameter dimension down here. And we have to put that radius in there yet. We got some angle dimensions to put on now, but we're going to go ahead and put some lines in first. So follow this. So we're going to put a line from here to here. We're going to do another line from here down to here. That's the center point of that. Okay, now notice I don't like this dimension right here running through that line, so it's going to bother me. I'm going to move it right now. Alright, let me continue working here. Let's go ahead and draw a line from here up. Now this one here, I'm actually going to go beyond, a good piece. The reason why, and I don't have a specific measurement here, is because I'm going to put an angular dimension in here, and I just want that line to be up a little bit higher than that 1/4 inch overhang we normally do. So right off the bat, I'm going to come down here and put that 0.0625 at 16th gap down there. Let me continue by putting more lines in here, and let me get the gap going on here, 0.0625, and I can go ahead and drag that down 0.25 as well. Let me put my horizontal line going across here. Put my 0.25 in there. Drag this back 0.0625. put my line going this way, and I only need to go 1/4 inch past that small hole. 0.0625 here. Okay, so a few things here. One, this line, I want to extend this out so that I can take an angular dimension. I want to extend this line up and go beyond 1/4 inch. So watch how I do it. I'm going to go ahead and offset so that I have an extend boundary. So I'm going to offset at 0.25. I'm going to offset this whole outer outline here. So now I'm going to go to extend. I'm going to extend this line up to there. I'm going to extend this line out to there as well. So watch this. Watch how that works. Extend it out to there. Extend it out to there. Now that's my 1/4 inch beyond the object line. So I no longer need this. I'm going to delete that outline. And the next thing that I need to do is put this center line in here. So in order to do that, I'm going to draw a circle and then do some trimming at that point. So let's go ahead and draw that circle back in. Let's go center radius, and remember that radius was 4 inches from this center point. So I'm going to type 4. Oh, look at that. So we have a 4 inch radius going out, but you have to remember we scaled this down in half. So instead of typing in 4 for my radius, what I need to do is type in 2 because it's scaled in half. So we're going to go center radius and make sure I don't get perpendicular. I don't want that perpendicular snap. Let me turn that perpendicular snap off. It gets in the way and causes problems. Alright, so let me snap in here. And we're going to type 2 instead of 4. Even though it's a 4 inch radius, you have to type that because we scaled it down in half. Alright, so I'm going to offset 0.25 again. I'm going to offset this slot, and that'll give me my trim boundary. Let me set it back to trim. Let's select that and select that circle and trim that out, and notice how it comes down, extends 1/4 inch beyond that slot. So now I can delete that back out, and there's a good bit more cleaning up to do here. What we're going to do is use this center point once again. Let's go ahead and drop another center point in down here. Even though I don't like these center marks, we're going to change them up. So I'm going to use that center mark. It makes it a little bit easier. It's not exact sizing here, but it makes it easier for us to just go ahead and have some sort of reference. So I'm going to use my offset again to 0.0625. Offset these lines out. And this is just going to give us our trim boundary to make our dash and our gap. So go ahead and trim this. Trim these out to get our gap. And delete these boundaries off. And delete that off. This original center mark, we're going to delete that back out. We just used it for reference. And there we go. We have a nice center mark that matches up to the arc and that angled line. I'm going to do the same up here. And I'm going to draw my box around here. And go to offset. I'm going to offset 0.0625 out for my trim boundary. Oh, I went the wrong way on that one. Went the wrong way on that one again. You got to watch your clicks. Still went the wrong way. Okay, now let me get in here and clean this up. Okay, let's trim this out. Delete my trim boundaries out. Delete this square back out. Now remember, what we're going to have to do here with this center mark is I'm going to have to go to my dimension, right click, go to properties, and go to the center mark on here and choose none, and that'll turn it off. Okay, close that properties back out, and we have a nice custom made center mark. Now what I'm going to do with these lines is we're going to choose that center line type. We're going to change that line type, go to load. If you don't already have it loaded in, go to center 2, and we're going to choose that line for these line types here. We're going to make it center line, and you'll get some dashes put in. Let's go ahead, and I selected them all. Notice how you could do that, and then just chose center 2 at one time, and it makes my dashes for me. Now what I don't like is this one right here, the 1.5 inch. I don't, even though it's not too bad, actually there's a little bit of a gap there, but I want to make a little bit more of a gap. So I'm going to go and put a line in here and see if it'll trim out for me. So let's choose trim. See if that'll trim out. So yeah, that trimmed out. Gives me room for my dimension. Now what I also don't like is I don't want these extension lines showing on this arc. So I could clean that up as well. Go to properties and go down to where it has extension line 1. Let's turn it off. Extension line 2. Let's turn it off. Okay, so you don't see those extension lines. Let's put our angular dimensions in. So there's a couple angular dimensions I want to put in. Go to angular. We're going to choose this and this. Go to 30 degrees there. We should display. Go to angular dimension down here and down here. This should be 60. Okay. Another radius dimension that we got to put in here is this 4-inch radius dimension. Put that in up here. And make sure that you put your area calculation in down here. And make sure you do your area calculation before you scale it down. Otherwise you'll get the wrong numbers. Okay. This is the indexing base. Thanks for watching.